We're talking about practice, man.
I'd say I only practice about 6 hours a week, honestly, at the moment.
Well, you want to know the real answer? Probably none.
But bowling a lot on the weekends, working during the week. But I still try to get some practice in, that's for sure.
No, it's more than that. It might be 5-10 hours a week. I mean, it just depends.
Not enough because I have a 2-year-old.
I just make sure I bowl every weekend and stay competitive to keep sharp, that's all.
About 2 hours. Or 2 games, whatever you want to figure how long it takes.
I'd say probably about 25 to 30 hours.
2.5 hours a day the last 2 weeks, 4 days a week.
No, I've been changing some things, getting a little bit healthier. So starting to roll back around, so it'll pick up here shortly.
Normally when I'm preparing for tournaments, I'll bowl a couple hours a day at least. Well, the week before this, I was practicing every single day, probably an hour and a half to 2 hours a day, so maybe 8 to 10 hours a week, depending on how I'm feeling. If I'm trying to work through something, or if I'm, if I'm feeling good, then practice sessions get a little bit shorter.
I would say 2 to 3 hours a day, so about 15 hours.
More and more as I get older. I think I'm not as efficient as I used to be. I don't move as quickly.
Not as many as some of these people. I do have the practice at home, so I can't practice quite as much as I'd like.
It all depends on if I'm in tournament competition or not. If we're bowling a lot of tournaments, I don't practice that much. I try to, use the tournament competition as my practice. Then I stay sharp during the week.
Normally not more than 2 hours at a time. I learned from Jimmy Connors a long time ago. He said anything over that, you're just mentally not there. But then I'll go as often as I need, especially right before we start bowling, at least once a day, about an hour 45. And then I'll come in and do it 2 a day if I'm not happy with it.
Trying to get ready for a big tournament, I spend about a half hour, 45 minutes on the lanes. I love to take some time off away from the game though, just to get the body fresh, relaxed, and I got a beautiful family to hang out with. So love to practice half hour, 45 minutes, but love to be home with the family too.
I practice every day for 2 hours, so about maybe 10 hours a week, pretty much.
Between an hour and 2 hours a day, depending on how I'm bowling. So I wasn't bowling that great, so it's more like an hour and a half to 2 hours most of those days.
On a tournament week like this, somewhere between 25 and 30. On an off week, I try to not practice too much and get my golf swing good. On my downtime, I'll try to get in like 3 days a week for 2 hours or so. Because you don't want to burn out. We bowl so much, and we're bowling all year round, overseas, and all over the place. That I don't want to burn out. I want to mentally fry myself out.
When I'm at home, I usually practice about 2.5 hours a day. I also coach a couple people, so they like to practice with me on the different patterns.
It's a lot less now than it used to be when I was growing up as a kid. When I was a kid, I'll say I was on the lanes probably 3, 4, sometimes 5 hours a day. Right now, it's probably maybe 3 hours in a given week that I actually spend on the lanes. But now, I've learned to practice more the quality instead of the quantity.
I probably get 5 hours a day, really, and then that's if you're building onto an event like this. It's probably like 2 hours in the bowling centre, and then you do a couple of hours at the gym, and an hour or two doing something else that's kind of relevant to sport. And so, it's building onto an event like this is a full-time job.
There's no reason to practice. You just bowl good when the left's walled. That's what everybody else thinks anyway, so might as well just do that.
Wow, you caught me off guard with that one.
When I'm home, I try to stay sharp. I think it's more quality versus quantity, so it just depends on, how my game is at the time.
Actually, I don't practice as much as I should just because of my work schedule.
As far as practicing when I'm off tour, about 3 games a week, bowling league, just to make sure that I'm, feel halfway decent.
I bowl Friday, Saturday, and Sunday usually. Just bowl as many tournaments as I can to get ready for this.
Well, usually spend about an hour and a half a day for about 5-6 days a week. Just depends on how I'm feeling physically, and like I said, if there's a big tournament coming up, I'll spend a little more time on the lanes, making sure everything's sharp and my arsenal's ready to go.
Like a week before we come out, I'll get together with my brother Rich for about a week. He'll come every other day just to make sure to watch and make sure that I look good to him and that I feel good.
At least a couple of hours a day when things are going badly, and then probably every other day like that when it's going okay.
I bowl in different patterns to become the most versatile bowler I can possibly be, because out here on tour you can't be one-dimensional. So I'm working really hard on getting my game better and better every day.
Practice?